Welcome everyone! This is a beautiful road all the way in southern Africa where we are busy trying to follow up on some lions, and this is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
Five, four, three, two, one. You are live, you are live.
Welcome everyone! Like I said, we are on one of the most wonderful roads of Djuma Private Game Reserve all the way in South Africa. I think this is my favorite road. I'm not too sure why yet, but it's proven to be quite a lucky one. My name is Ali, and on camera with me today I've got Seb. And as you all know, for the first 25 minutes of our safari today, we're going to give a very big welcome to the British Academy all the way from Brussels. So good to have you guys on board, and like we said, if you've got any questions, we'd love to hear from you, so please don't be shy and send them through. Alright. Well, we're gonna carry on this beautiful road. This morning we had a very exciting drive. There were lions around, a pride that we hadn't seen for a few days, so we were so happy to see them coming back. So we know where we left them this morning. Well, Seb knows. I've been explained how to get there, so hopefully we will get there and the lions will be there waiting for us. So here we go. I think we're still a bit far away from where they are, but who knows? Maybe we'll see some other things on the road. And hopefully the lions will be there. There's a very good chance that they are there because it's been hot and normally lions like sleeping during the day. But also they are looking quite hungry, so I'm sure also if anything went around that they thought looked like a very yummy piece of steak, I'm sure maybe they got up and started moving around. But let's hope that they're still somewhere where we can find them. Alright, you're wondering why lions are the king of the jungle. Well, out of all the predators in this area, and the predators are the animals that eat other animals, they are the biggest ones, the strongest ones. So they are much bigger than a leopard or a hyena, or what else do we have around here? Cheetahs, wild dogs. So they are the biggest ones around, and they can have very big families, the prides of lions. So they are sometimes able to kill and eat big animals, like sometimes in certain areas giraffes. They will go and hunt giraffes, and buffalo, they do it often, and also elephants in some parts of Africa. So I think they are the king of the jungle because they are one of the strongest ones around, and probably some of the ones with some of the biggest teeth around. Alright, seems like this is the right road where we're on. And hopefully we'll see not only the king, but actually the queens and future queens and princesses of the jungle. Oh. Ayush and Otto, you're wondering how long is a lioness pregnant for? Well, it's for about 3.5 months, and then she will have tiny fluffy little cubs about maybe this big, and she can have 1 to 4 at the same time. So the pride that we're looking for, they've actually got 6 older cubs, so hopefully they will all be around, and they're all looking in very healthy condition from the guys that saw them this morning. Hey Seb, were they looking nice?
Very good condition.
Okay, so they are looking in very good condition, which is good to know, because obviously we like the lions too, and we like to know that all the little ones are doing just fine. Let's go around. Roran, you're wondering how many cubs can a lioness have? Well, at one single time they will have 1, 2, 3 and up to 4. So a lot of the times they will have, I would say on average 2 or 3, that's the more common one. And sometimes if the lionesses are very young mothers, so it's the first time ever that they've had cubs, or when they're getting a bit old, then that's when they'll have maybe just 1. That is in normal cases, but of course there are exceptions. And sometimes things don't go according to what the textbooks say, which is always good, because everything you learn in a book about wildlife, all of the time there will be someone that's going to do something different, and it's going to make you scratch what you've learned. And I think that's my favorite part. Let me just need to update here on the radio. Afternoon, Aubrey, just myself mobile this afternoon. I'm gonna go check around on the last location of the Ngala from this morning. Okay, copy. Right, sorry about that. So we're talking on the radio, and I've got a little earpiece, or a little thing that goes in my ear so that I can hear what the guys are saying. And this is pretty much to be in touch with all of the other rangers and all of the other lodges that are out also looking for animals, because we help each other out and we are always in touch so that we can all find all the animals that we want to see. So as soon as one car starts moving, then it's almost like, you know, just being polite and saying, hello, I'm out here, what are you looking for today, and so on. Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky road around here, so let's just go very slowly because there are lots of rocks. Alex, I will answer your question in 1 second once I manage to get past this rocky area. All right, Alex, you're wondering how long the cubs stay with the mothers for. Well, it depends, but normally they will stay with their mothers until they're about 2 to 3 years old, and this is for the males. So the females, they stay in the pride that they were born in. They are not going to go anywhere else. They tend to stay with their mothers and their aunts and everybody else. And the boys, when they're about 2 or 3 years old, then the mothers and just all the females and the males, even the fathers, they push them away from the herd. And from the pride. Sorry, I thought I had seen a lion head in the bush, because a lot of the times, all of these bushes look like lions to me, but it was just a truck. And yeah, so the males, when they're 2 to 3 years old, they're gonna all be kicked out of the pride, and then they're gonna have to start surviving on their own. All right, so this is roughly where they were seen. Now let's go see if maybe we can find them again this afternoon. I'm hoping they will be around here. So we're going slowly, just looking all around us to see if perhaps we can spot them. And this seems to be a nice favorite area for them, because last time we had them hunting, which was a while ago, they were also moving around here. Whoop. There was a hole on the road. Thankfully we have very trustworthy cars that will take us everywhere. Alright, I'm not 100% sure if they came around here. Janani, you are wondering how many years does a lion live for? Well, the females, they live until they're about maybe 10 to 15 years old. If they are past that, then they are considered very old grandmas, and it's quite cool. And the males, they live a bit less, until they're about maybe 12 years old or so. So they don't live as long as the females. Alright, let's see. I think maybe we're going to have to get a hold of the other guys and get a bit of direction. See where exactly these lions have gone off to, or where they were last seen. Aubrey, Ferrali, Aubrey. Aubrey, do you know where close to this marula those Ngala were left this morning? Okay, copy, thank you. We didn't pass that big torchwood, did we? Alright, I'm just getting direction from one of the other rangers because I wasn't here in the morning. So I'm wondering if perhaps they have moved somewhere else, or the car switched off. Because all the vehicle trucks were coming in here and there was a branch on the road, so let's see. You're wondering if it's hot here today. Well, it is quite hot. It was very cold in the morning. I was freezing this morning, but the temperature now is, I think, 24 and 74 degrees. So nice and warm for a winter day. Normally during the morning is about maybe 18 degrees, 13 degrees, so it's quite cold, but we are lucky to have wonderful weather even for winter. All right, I want to try and go back here and see if perhaps I can see that big torchwood once more. Lucky us, lots of things around here. Seems like we are going to take a much longer road trip all the way to Kenya, and let's go over to Scott, who's also looking for lions.
Sorry, my earpiece was off. Can you go again? Hello everyone, and welcome on board with myself, Scott. I wasn't quite ready for you. I was just trying to get through this little riverbed that we're going through, and it's a great pleasure to have everyone on board, especially all the school kids in Belgium. A very, very warm welcome, and you've joined my vehicle at a great time because we've been told that there's 5 big male lions sleeping in the bushes just to the left of us, and we're going to creep in there and see if we can get you a better view of them. Apologies, I evidently hadn't turned my mic on, so apologies if you couldn't hear me very clearly, but it should be much better now. So we as VM, who's on camera, and myself, Scott, for those of you who haven't met me, have been driving around since about 12 o'clock today, searching a new area of the mire that we haven't done too much exploring yet, and it's paid off because there are some lions just ahead of us, but they seem to have, one has just got up and moved off. So let me creep forward a little bit and see if I don't have any luck getting you a glimpse of him. Now I'm told there were 5 here. Oh, well, let's stop and get you. Actually, there's one just a little bit forward here, VM. Let me go back a bit. There's one somewhere in that bush over there that VM was pointing at. But here we go. Here we're going to get you a much better view. There we go. Hello, boy. So, looks to be a fairly young male. And so did the other one I saw earlier. It'll be interesting to see what the other 3 look like. It'll also be interesting to see how full their bellies are. Because if they're very hungry, we might be lucky enough to see them go out looking for some wildebeest. There are wildebeest literally surrounding us. We're in a bit of a thicket where we are, but around us there's a sea of open grassland. So there's lots of food around, but his belly does look fairly full, but he could definitely squeeze some more wildebeest in there if he needs to. Now, just a reminder, please do especially for the school kids, please ask your teacher lots and lots of questions, and then they will send them on to us. It'll be great to answer your questions and to talk to you guys and see what happens, see where the afternoon takes us. I'm actually going to be spending the whole night out here with VM, the cameraman. We're going to be following the lions the whole night, so that's very exciting. So what we're probably going to do is just spend a few more minutes with them, try and get you a few more better views. And once we've done that, then we're going to take you on a little bit of a drive. Oh, let's just stop here. There's an animal walking across the clearing straight in front of us there, VM. Oh, not that one. I think it's just disappeared behind a bush to the left. Let me go into a gap. There was a hyena walking along in the distance. There are so many animals here. You literally don't know where to look. And there's going to
Oh, I'm sorry, it seems like the gremlins have gone all the way to the marn, have gotten in the way of Scott's signal. We are looking in a different place now, so fingers crossed the lions will be here somewhere, because this is where they were left this morning. So, hopefully they'll be somewhere around here, because I would really like to see them. And we have found the very iconic tree that everyone kept saying that we needed to look for. Ayush Shrija, you're wondering how fast a lion can run. Well, they can run very fast. They can do about maybe 80 kilometers an hour, but they can only do that for a few hundred meters. They cannot run that fast for too long. And that's why they try getting very close to their prey species, and they stalk them and they go like this on the ground and they make themselves very small just so that they can be very close to them. Right. Where are you, lions? Wahid, you're asking why do they have muscles? Well, all animals and humans in general, we have muscles so that we can move, so that I can do this and I'll have enough strength to flex my super strong arms or carry people around or carry your backpack to school. They have muscles so that they can move and that they can walk and go hunting and everything else. I think maybe this is where they were. Sneaky lions, where have you gone? I think maybe they were a bit hungry and they started moving around. So we're going to carry on looking around this area. Hopefully we will find them for you guys. I would really like you to see our beautiful lions. It seems like Scott has managed to fight off all the gremlins, so let's go over to him, who seems to have found all the lions this afternoon.
Well, aren't we lucky to be seeing lions here? I know you guys got to see some lions a little bit earlier, the Nkuhumas in the Sabi sands. Oh! Does it look like he has a little wound on his elbow? I think it does. Nothing too serious. You can see quite a few flies attracted to that area. You'll also notice that the lion's breathing quite deeply, and you'll also notice that his belly looks quite swollen. So it seems like these 5 young males have had a successful night last night, and I wouldn't be surprised if they try their luck again tonight. So those are really good prospects for later on. But for now, as you can see, it's time to relax. And this gives you a better idea now as VM zooms out of the thicket that they were lying up in. taking refuge during the day. At least there's a little bit of shade that they could hide under. It does get quite hot here in the hotter hours of the daytime, so lions will typically be sleeping often in shady areas. But as it starts to cool down, as the sun begins to set, then things will start beginning to heat up in terms of the lions and their plans. Hello, Stridger. You were wondering what the weather was like here in the Mara, and it can fluctuate quite a lot. It can be hot, it can get up to about 30 degrees in the middle of the day, but then at night it can get quite cold. So when we are sleeping out here tonight, we've got lots of blankets and jackets, or at least not sleeping, hopefully following the lions, but if they take a snooze, we might also take one next to them until they wake up. So it fluctuates, but it's typically quite cool weather. There's definitely other parts of Africa where you will be a lot more warm on the safari. Hello, Rowan. You would like to know how old I think those lions were, and it's difficult to be sure unless you actually have followed the lions for years, which I haven't. I only arrived here 3 days ago, so I'm still learning a lot about these lions. And to take a guess, though, I'd say they're probably around 4 to 5 years of age. They look to be coming into their prime, and anywhere from now, from about 5 to 7 or 8 years of age, is when we could expect their manes to really start growing. You saw they had a bit of a mohawk and a bit of kind of fluff on the side of their faces, but they didn't have a big heavy mane, which the lions in this area will grow into, probably, like I say, between kind of 5 and 8 as a general rule. So they're getting there. Now another very good question relating to the manes of lion. This is from Oakcliff, and you're wondering why the males have them. And it's partly to impress the females, to impress the lioness, but also it acts like a gigantic helmet. When the males are fighting for territory and land, and also for ladies and prides of lion, they will have very big fights, sometimes with the other males, and what that means is their big mane will protect them from their big claws and bites. So that's one of the main reasons why they've developed that big mane. And thank you very much for all the questions you're sending through, because it would be very lonely out here if it was just me with none of you joining in on all the fun. Well, it's also quite interesting, and I'll stop to show you guys now, just to give you an idea of how big this area is. I mean, look out there. The camp where we sleep is actually up on that mountain that we can see. So we left somewhere up on that mountain this morning and drove all the way along it to the right, basically just to the left of where you can see that long pole sticking out, that big antenna, is where our camp is. So we were sleeping there, we woke up there this morning, and then we drove all the way along the ridge to the right, and then dropped into the Mara on the eastern side of the Mara River. What a wonderful playground for us to be exploring, and I'm going to continue to see what I can find for you guys, and in the meantime, send you all the way back down south to South Africa with Ali.
Sorry, can you go again with your message, Aubrey? A-firm, I found 2. There's one close to the Torchwood and then one close to a Marula, but the one's got a branch that's been dropped off on the road. Alright, sorry guys, we've just been looking for them, and I was just unfortunately bad timing trying to speak to one of the guys that came and left them around this morning, because I think they've moved roughly from where they were, and there seemed to have been some elephant signs. So there were some branches that looked like the elephants have been around here feeding on them. So I wonder if perhaps some elephants didn't actually come around and chase the lions and made them move. So I think maybe what we're gonna do is just start heading towards the road and see if perhaps we can see any tracks of them moving around. But sorry guys, I thank you so much for joining us on this school drive, and we hope to see you guys again, and I hope you enjoy seeing some of the beautiful lions during this drive. Welcome everyone to the grown-up part, or I don't know if grown-up is the right word, but to the normal drive. We are very happy to have you all here. My name is Ali, and on camera with me today I've got Seb, and as you all know, it's a live and interactive show, so please feel free to send through your comments and questions using the hashtag #SafariLive. We are in a bit of a predicament because this is roughly the area where the lions were this morning, but I think there were some elephants that moved around this area and just chased them and made them move, because we've just been looking around and we can't really seem to find them anywhere. So, you know, it's quite a big pride of lions, so it would be quite difficult to miss them all, although you never know. So hopefully the cat friends will be out there in an area where we can find them, and it is quite hot all around this area, so I'm not too sure if there are any big bushes where they could be hiding. And the drainage line is not too far away, so I just want to see, as it does seem like there were some elephants feeding on this beautiful tree over here. So I think maybe we will just take it back to the road and start from there and see if perhaps we can just recognize where some of these guys have gone off to. This is the lion mystery. I wonder what it is. I think maybe all the ladies are a bit in love with Tristan and that's why they're hiding from me. We shall see. Come kitties. I'd really like to see you. I'm sure everybody else does too. Right, the news regarding Mvula from this morning. So we managed to have a look at his kill, and it seems like he's killed a warthog. I'm just trying to think of which way is better to get out, and I don't think this was the one. And he's got it, but he is in a funny spot in the sense that he is lying inside of Buffalo's hook, so when he is on the ground, because the grass is still a bit long, so we can't really see him. So I want to try and check later on today when the sun starts going down, see if perhaps he is there and if he graces with his presence, because I'm sure he's an old friend and Seb would also very much like to see him this afternoon. So fingers crossed we will find the lions and the leopard. Sorry tree. And we shall see around here. Right, this is a bit of a tight spot, but I'm pretty sure we'll make it back onto the road. See, sometimes we all have to dodge all sorts of things. Ellie, you're 12 years old and you would like to know how much food can a lion eat in one serving. Well, they can eat a lot. A lot of the times what they do is they'll gorge themselves, so they'll eat as much as they can, and sometimes that can be, for a big male lion, maybe 15-20 kilograms of just meat, of pure protein. So that's why they get those very big fat tummies, and when they move around like this, or why they spend so many hours sleeping, because they have to digest all that food. So it takes them a little while. Alright, this thing is falling out. I want to check the road, see if perhaps they didn't come out here somewhere. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did. So let's maybe have a bit of a second look, see if we can pick up any tracks. Otherwise they might have gone down into the drainage line. I'm hoping that that didn't happen. I think they carried on moving in the bush. Right, don't seem to be any tracks around here. So if they are still there, then they went all the way down. Alright, let me just hear this update. Big marula. Okay. All right, I've been keep. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna try again where the branch on the road was. All right. Okay, Cubby, it's just that I can see that there are some old 2 trucks around here, so confirm just straight south. Yes, Ephraim, I've seen that. I just missed them going in. I couldn't find them once I went down on the marula, but maybe I didn't go far south enough. I'm gonna try again where your branch is. All right. Alright, sorry guys, I'm going to carry on fighting with all the voices in my head, but in the meantime, let's go to the Mara, who I'm sure are having a very good time.
So we continue to peruse through the open grasslands of the Masai Mara, and we can show you some gazelles on our left that you don't get down in Juma, and these are called Thomson's gazelle, which are some of the smallest antelope you get out here in the Mara. These all look like females, or at least youngsters. But both the males and the females of these gazelles have got horns. And behind you can see the old gnu. So they're feeling quite nice and safe out in this big open clearing, not much cover for any predators to sneak up on them, and they've got some safety in numbers, with the slightly taller wildebeest also help keeping an eye out for them. Good. Well, I forgot to introduce myself. My name's Scott Dyson, for those of you who have never met me before, and for those of you who have, it's good to be with you again. So this is a new area for me, and what I'm trying to do before sunset fails is that we would like to try and get an idea of the roads around where these lions are, so that we've got a better opportunity of being able to follow them or loop ahead of them if they go through a little riverbed or a swampy area that the vehicle can't go through. As I mentioned earlier, we will be out here the whole evening, which is super exciting. I cannot wait. And please don't forget to hashtag Safari Live on Twitter if you'd like to send any questions through to us. We do really love to hear from you, even if it's not a question, just to let us know who you are, how long you've been watching for, and what it's like in your part of the world. Hello! Hello, Steph. You would like to know if the Thomson's gazelle are related to the springbok, and yes, they are all part of the gazelle family. So you could say that they are cousins. What I'm hoping to try and find is a little baby Thomson's gazelle. We did see one earlier when we were racing about, and that was the only one there. And what the parents will do is they'll just leave them lying in the grass all on their own, and they just put their head completely flat so they almost disappear. And that's how they try and avoid being detected by predators. Leslie, thank you for reminding me. I forgot to mention who was on camera with me today, and it's Vim. So, good to be teamed up with him again. We've spent many hours together on Juma, and we are both thoroughly enjoying getting to explore this big playground together. Okay. Well, I'm going to be heading down to what's called the marsh. Oh, well, let's just stop before that. Looks like we've got to the edge of an airstrip, but I have also seen 2 hyenas. So let me just stop and give you another glimpse of them. I'm told there's some massive clans of hyena on this side of the Mara River. We're on the east of the Mara River here. And one as large as 120. Oh, at least one of them's seeming quite playful. It's almost as if they know we're talking about them, the way they've got their ears pricked up in our direction. Now, what's interesting is that the hyenas in this area are very formidable hunters, possibly more so than other areas of Africa where they can rely on scavenging more. Here they do a combination of hunting and scavenging, so it's not uncommon to spend time with animals like these and see them run down their prey over large distances. They've got incredible stamina, and they can go for miles and miles until their prey tires, and that's when they overpower them. So they're not ambush predators like lion or leopard. They can't use sheer speed or surprise to get their prey. It's just the fact that they never give up, and they can keep chasing and chasing and chasing. So that's probably what they're thinking of doing. Oh, although, looks like another one of them had another plan in mind. And that looks like a playful, slightly smaller one than the one in front, so maybe it's still a bit of an adolescent, and Mom could be taking it out on some lessons of the real world. Good, well, from one predator in Kenya, we are going to be sending you back to another wonderful predator in Juma.
Yes, guys, so exciting! We finally managed to find them. It seems like they moved from roughly where we were looking for them a few moments ago, and they've come all the way down here. So the guys said to us earlier, and I apologize for being for too long on the radio. I was just trying to figure out the directions of where they had last been, where they were last seen by some of the guides in the area. So it seems like they carried on moving all around. But yay, so they gave us good directions, and it seems like these guys didn't really move all that much further. So super exciting, because we've got the Nkuhuma Pride over here today, which I'm very happy to see, because, well, they've been a bit elusive and I haven't had a chance to see them since I came back from leave. So good to see you all. I know you guys are sleeping and you're very happy, but I think I'm happier than all of you in your sweet sleep. So we've got, it seems like one of the cubs over there, then one of the adults around here, and then of course that beautiful bunch of lions. Somebody's sort of waking up. One of the cubs. Have you got a bit of an itchy paw there? Oh, they are sleeping beautifully. So from what I can count, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 females that I can see, and I can see 3 cubs for now. I'm sure the other ones are around. We just don't want to move around too much now that we found them, because we don't really want to disturb them. But I'm sure they're here somewhere, because the grass is a bit long, and if they're just sleeping further behind the bushes to our left, then we won't be able to see them too much from here. But exciting news, the Nkuhumas are still here. Isn't that sleeping in style? I think that's a proper sleepy kitty. I think it's one of my favorite things that lions do when they sleep with all four legs in their belly, or they just sleep on their backs with the belly facing the sun. It's just such a happy way of sleeping, isn't it? Nothing to worry. And they are out in the sun, and despite that it is a bit warmer this afternoon, there's also a very nice cold breeze coming around, so I'm sure that's helping them just stay in the area that they're in, and instead of going somewhere else where it's a bit warmer. It seems like somebody's got a bit of a, I don't know if that's a bit of mud or if it's a wound that she's got down there. I think maybe it looks like a wound, doesn't it? Like another bite mark. Nothing to worry about, really. Seems like our lions are quite sleepy, so we're gonna accompany them while they sleep around, see if perhaps they do wake up in a little while. But while we do that, let's go over to Scott, who's managed to find some very playful hyena.
Now this is something very rare, and I was clearly completely wrong about this being a youngster following its mother. Interestingly, hyena males are actually smaller than the females. The females are bigger and bulkier and more dominant than them. And this is something that I've never seen before. It's quite fascinating because while you were gone, it did take him about three or four attempts before he successfully managed to start copulating. And it's not as simple as a fair as you would think it to be with regular mammals. Hyenas have got very interesting appendages, and the females have got what is called a pseudopenis. It's a greatly enlarged clitoris, and that is in fact their birth canal. So they've got very, very different reproductive organs to your average mammal. And I've never seen this, and it's something that doesn't get seen very often. So we're very lucky to be witnessing this. And it's behavior like this, I guess, that's created or at least helped create the gigantic hyena population. Now something interesting is happening. There's another hyena approaching. Look at this. Now, with most wild animals, there's quite a lot of competition for breeding rights. So we could see some kind of a showdown here. Or that one could run off. It could realize that he is less dominant, possibly, than the male that's mating with her. And it looks like that's exactly what he's decided to do. The other two haven't flinched. They haven't moved a muscle. And as I said, this is something that I have not seen before, but I'm guessing why those two have remained coupled together is similar to the fact that domestic dogs will also remain coupled together once they have copulated. For how long, though, it's going to be interesting. Well, thankfully you guys joined just in time to be able to work out how long they will remain coupled for. There's the other one. Is it coming in? Or was it just taking a very, very wide berth? Off it goes. Incredible scenes from the Mara. Oh, who knows why it's running, what the rush is, or where it wants to go. I'm guessing it's going to stop and turn around and look back at these ones and then decide what to do, but let's wait and see. What I'd also be very interested to know about is where their den is in relation to here. Hyenas very often have den sites that they will use where they base themselves during the day, whereas at night they head out searching for food. Hello to Shelley. You would like to know if the female gets to decide who she mates with. And I guess yes. In essence, the answer to that is a definite yes. And the reason for that is that the females are bigger than the males, so they can overpower males if they would like. But they usually have created a bond with an alpha male. So it's often the alpha male and female that will mate. So she does, I guess, have a choice to a degree. But that male would have fought for his dominance within the clan with other males. So if he manages to chase off all the other males, then he will get to kind of cash in on the mating opportunities. But they do live very, very complex lives and social structures. Hello to Roshni, and thanks for the question that you've just asked, because it does lead on from the previous question, and that is, how does the mating hierarchy within a clan work? And usually it is just the alpha male and female within a clan that will be the ones that breed. However, it is possible that the beta female and beta male will also mate. That has been seen on some occasions at Juma, where we've had multiple pups, or cubs rather. Let's see what happens here. So definitely some submissive behavior from the individual that approached. So probably from the same clan. Interesting that it didn't greet the female though. Let's keep an eye on these guys and see what they get up to. This is really interesting. John, you've asked a good question to which I do not know the answer. You have asked how many times will they mate. And I have never seen hyenas mating before. Some of you may remember a long time ago on Juma, we had some really interesting behavior with about 4 or 5 males chasing after a female. Oh, here goes. I wonder what that was all about. And again, you know, it's just so hard to read into every move of what they do. But it sure is interesting to watch. But John, back to your question. I'm guessing they're going to have multiple copulations over a few day period. But I'm not entirely certain how the reproductives work within hyena. If any of you do know that, please send through some tidbits of information for us. We'd be very happy to share that with everyone who's watching. I've lost track of which hyena is which now. I think the one on the far right is the female. And the one on the left, I think, is the male that was mating with her. Or have I got it wrong? No. That looks like the female and the male there in picture. And I think the random stranger is the one who's moved out on the right now. Fascinating stuff. Well, I think it's going to be worth spending a few more minutes here and just seeing what these other two do. It's something that you very seldom get insight into. At least I have had very little insight into hyenas mating. So it will be worth sticking around to see what happens next. A beautiful, beautiful scene. Some wildebeest in the background. Hello to no one. You're interested to know whether the hyena population is less than that of the males in the Mara, and I don't have a clue to the answer to that question, sadly. And to be honest, I think even for hyena researchers in this area, it would be quite a tricky feat to know exactly who's who within these clans, but I think as time goes by and as we spend more time here, we will gain more insight into the finer details of these animals. But the 3 days that I've spent here thus far, I have failed to gather such info. Okay, well, we're going to hang around here and see if these hyena don't get excited and active again. Although, hold on a second. It looks like it may be happening right now. Let's just give it a short while and see what happens here. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we are going to try and stay with them and then call you back if anything exciting happens. So it does seem like things have calmed down now. They're all just marching off. So we're going to continue to follow them and send you back to Juma with some sleepy lions.
How exciting! Maybe I think the lions over here didn't like the fact that the hyenas were having all of the attention in the Mara. Because we've got one of the girls sticking her head up now, looking very regal as usual. Hello. I wonder what it is that you're listening to. So it's just always very good proof that even when we think that they're fast asleep, the minimum noise can just make them aware of what's happening. So I'm sure there was something in the distance that caught her attention. Maybe something she heard, something she smelled, because her head went up and she faced in that direction. I don't think, however, there's much to worry about, because I don't think she's still quite sleepy. Maybe this is like her version of midnight. She's been walking until maybe around 8 o'clock in the morning today. That's roughly the time where you guys left her. Hey, around about 8.
Yeah.
So she hasn't been sleeping for all that long, considering lions can sleep between 16 to 20 hours in a day. I don't think she's had enough beauty sleep to carry on. Oh, you beautiful girl. Nick, you're 4 years old and you're wondering when the lions are going to wake up. Well, this one is almost awake, but I'm sure she's gonna go back to sleep. But normally when the sun starts going down, once it starts becoming night, that's when the lions start moving and waking up. Funny. When we work, they sleep, and when we sleep, they work. Hello, beautiful girl. It's always impressive with this Nkuhuma Pride. They always look so healthy, and in comparison to some of the other lions that I've seen, they always seem to be, these females, so fit and just in general good condition. Oh, nice stretch over there, hey? Oh, I think this is the female that has got that wound. It seems almost like a bite mark. I don't think there's much to worry about. It is an ugly wound, but I'm sure she'll be able to recover from that. Lions are quite sturdy animals, and they can come back from much worse wounds than that. Does seem like there was another predator, I think another lion, that actually inflicted that wound, so I wonder what it is. Oh, hello. Nice big yawn. Oh. Those very powerful canines that you just showed us. Hello, girl. Are you going to... This is quite a scary experience sometimes, having a lion looking straight at you and then starting to lick their lips like that and be like, yummy, yummy, yummy. Of course, I am just joking. They wouldn't do anything to us. They haven't showed any sign of aggressive behavior to us, and I think they're more used to us, like a giant big rug that moves around. So she's carried on with her day. She's busy grooming herself, and I wonder if perhaps they're going to start moving a bit earlier on today. They are all in general looking quite skinny, and not skinny in the way that they are looking unhealthy, but they're looking like they need to go and get some food. And I know that it seems like this morning they were busy hunting, or at least approaching food. Oh, hello. And this is a very good indication, or potential indication, that they're going to start getting active. Normally when they yawn and then they start grooming themselves, could indicate that one of them is going to start moving in. in most cases, once one wakes up and starts moving around, then the rest of them tend to start doing it as well. Although I am surprised because it's a bit early to start moving around for you guys, but not that you will see me complaining. Oh, I'm sure some of these screenshots are coming out beautifully. There we go once more. Wonderful, all those teeth. Incredible. Now, the way she's grooming herself, she needs to get rid of all the little dirt and possibly all the little pieces of meat, if she had any from the last kill, any parasites, any ticks from in between her toes. You see she's trying to get something there like a domestic cat would. And as they start licking around there and they start cleaning themselves, once she uses something there that's bothering you. I think maybe there's a tick down there. Like normal cats and dogs, they get lots of ticks in between their toes where the skin is a bit maybe thinner, where the ticks can very easily attach themselves and then start sucking their blood. But it is wonderful to see it so up close. I think you got a bit of grass in your mouth. Katerina, you're wondering if there is a common disease that lions get. Well, in this area, as far as I know, one of the most common and diseases that lions have is bovine tuberculosis. So they get it from eating buffalo that have tuberculosis, especially when they start. Tuberculosis is a bacteria that pretty much nests in the lungs of the buffalo. So when they hunt the buffalo down and they eat the buffalo and then subsequently all their organs, in particular the lungs, then that's sometimes when they get it. So they are carriers of the disease. They won't necessarily die from it, but it affects them and it leads to somewhat of a loss of condition. And every so often you will see lions sometimes walking and they get this very big, they look like abscesses on their joints and on their elbows. So that is a good way of recognizing an individual that could have TB. Also, there are lots of studies that have been done in the area, and there's another bacteria that flutters around during the winter time. It's anthrax. So it's quite a deadly spore that lives in the wild world that affects pretty much all of the herbivores, but somehow it seems like it doesn't have that much of an effect in carnivores. And lions are one of the creatures that are known to be carriers. However, they don't present any symptoms, and they will perhaps lose a bit of condition because of this bacteria in their body, but they won't, not bacteria, sorry, this spore in their body, but they won't die necessarily from it, unlike some of other creatures like hippos and impalas and other antelope. Seems like we are busy having a bit of a grooming session. We've got as well a second female that's decided to wake up. There we go, and I think she is cleaning her wound. So definitely in that area where she had those bite marks, she's just keeping the wound clean. And by doing this, she's preventing any, it looks quite deep, I'm sorry. She's preventing any bacteria, soil or anything from going in there and potentially just causing a bit of an infection. It does seem to be a deep wound, but it doesn't seem to be too serious. We'll see now once she starts moving. We can have a bit of a better look there. So definitely she's been bitten by something. But lions are very resilient animals, and it's incredible to see just how many injuries they can sustain, and they'll carry on being lions and fighting and dominating everyone around. Now, I know you guys saw them walking this morning, and how was she walking, Sam? Was she walking fine?
Yeah, kind of.
Maybe
she was a bit in pain.
Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna put on my jersey because I'm getting cold. So perhaps she was a bit in pain and she will have a bit of a limp, but I think it won't affect her all too much. I think she'll be just fine, and I'm pretty sure she will recover from it. Doesn't seem to be too bad, and what she's doing now, that's perfect. She's just like grooming herself, making sure that the wound is clean and that there aren't any other agents around that might go in there and perhaps cause a bit of an infection. Hello. Lisa, you're wondering if lions get any kind of dental diseases. Well, I'm sure they get cavities like some of the other creatures do. However, I'm not too sure if they get any other types of diseases. I do know that sometimes they develop some problems in their canines, and they would have the equivalent of a root canal infection. I'm sorry, I'm not too good with dentistry. But I'm not too sure if perhaps other than that, if they get any other dental diseases or dental problems. I think you haven't decided if you want to go back to sleep or if you actually want to be awake, do you? And she's gone back to sleep. She's all the way back down. Doesn't seem to be too bothered. Oh, what a wonderful afternoon in this golden light with all these beautiful creatures. Well, there we go. Well, we keep these sleepy lions some company, because I think maybe they're gonna go for a second bout of sleeping. Let's go over to Scott and the Mara, who's managed to find one of the biggest birds around.
Coming. Wow, look at this. A flock of 4 female ostrich. Easily distinguishable from the males because they are quite a drab grey coloration. The males will have black and white wings, or sorry, a black body with kind of white wing feathers. And they're just looking for some snacks along the way. They'll just feed on vegetable matter mainly, seeds and little bits of grass and leaves. And these are huge animals. Their height can be between 2 and 2.5 meters, so very tall if you compare that to your average door frame, which would be 2 meters. They are very big beasts, and I'm sure at some stage we'll get lucky enough to see them running at full speed. That's a spectacle to behold, because they shake their head from side to side and their wings go flaying up and down, kind of like that one just did now, but while they're running. Maybe they're warming up for us. Come on, ladies, do your thing. Interestingly, you get 2 types of ostrich here in Kenya. The common ostrich, which ranges all the way down to South Africa, so the same ones that we'll see down there. But we also get the Somali ostrich a little bit further north from here, which has got a more bluish neck and legs compared to the more pinkish color of the common ostrich. Well, no one would like to know why they can't fly. And it's a good question. There's not many other birds on the planet that are on the same boat as them. Penguins are one. But I guess it's because of their large size that they've, over the years, lacked the need to be able to fly away from predators, because they can simply run away from most of them with their incredible speed. And also their size makes it difficult for predators like possibly cheetah and leopard to bring down. So I think just over the years they've lacked the need to fly, and rather than flying they've got these big legs and big bodies which can transport them along the earth at high speeds away from any danger. I guess a few other similar species that also can't fly would be the rhea in Australia. And Justin has just asked a little bit more about the feeding habits of ostriches and what is their kind of main thing that they feed on. Well, here it seems to be grass seeds that they're plucking up as they go. Let's try and take a close look here, exactly what she's gobbling up on. Come on, yeah. So it's mainly just the grass seeds and other bits of vegetable matter that they're feeding on. I know some of you who were with Brent the other afternoon also highlighted how these animals are known to be attracted to shiny objects, so they often also get attracted to those if there's any shining and anything shiny or glistening in the bushveld. They may pick that up and carry it along with them. Oh, well, thank you to Johan for also reminding me that they also ingest stones. And quite a few birds will do that in order to help them act like, I guess kind of like, it's almost like a washing machine effect. When they are breaking up all their food matter within their crop, a few little stones help break up the grass seeds or any little bits of matter that they're feeding on before it actually goes down into their stomach. And I know a lot of doves and pigeons will also eat little stones and store them in their crop to assist in digestion. Oh, the wildebeest's popped onto the scene. And soon, what's interesting to note is that these plains will be covered in wildebeest. They're on their way towards us now. We're situated quite far north in the Mara. And as VM zooms out, you'll get a good idea of the expanse that is going to be filled with hundreds of thousands of zebra and wildebeest. So looking forward to that happening. But for now, it's quite enjoyable to have the peaceful open plains to ourselves with just a few animals dotted about. Hello, Kobe. Good to have you with us. You would like to know if the fastest human on the planet would be able to outrun an ostrich. And the answer to that question is no. Ostrich, I'm sure, will be able to complete the 100-meter sprints in about 6 or 7 seconds. Whereas, as you know, our fastest sprinter on the planet at the moment can only do it just under 10. So, and that the same goes, Kobe, for most animals out here. Even hippo and elephant will be quicker than the fastest human on the planet, which is hard to believe, but interesting to take note of. Just want to take you up to see another hyena that seems to be having a little bit of a dust bath ahead of us. I saw it running through the plains a moment ago, and then it just dropped down onto the ground and is rolling about. It could even be having a mud wallow. What are you up to? Doesn't seem like there could be much moisture where it's positioned there, but I'm sure once VM zooms in we'll be able to get a better idea of what it's up to. Is there some mud there? It does seem to be glistening a little bit, at least on its back half. What may have happened is that it may have actually come from a mud wallow where it's been relaxing all day, and now it's wanting to roll in the dry dust to cake up that mud. I always wonder where all these animals pop up from as you're driving along, like the hyena, and where they've been spending all day. And more importantly, I wonder what you're going to get up to tonight. As you can see, though, it seems like it's trying to recharge its battery fully until such point as the sun sets, when it's most likely to become a lot more active than we're seeing it now. Okay, well, I think we're going to send you back down to Juma, and we're going to continue exploring here.
Well, Now, this is exactly what we look, or the print of this is what we look on the sand every morning when we start out driving and when we start looking for these beautiful creatures. So not too different from the one of a domestic cat, and if you've got a cat, I would invite you just to grab it by the leg. I'm sure your cat's not going to be too impressed, and have a look. That's pretty much exactly what a lion print and a lion paw feels like, just a slightly bigger, of course, than your normal domestic cat. But you see no claws around there, and that's why we don't see any claws when they are stepping on the sandy soils or pretty much on any type of soil as we move around, because they keep them inside of their little pouches, and they only exert pressure to take them out, just also to prevent them from going blunt. I love when they sleep like this. Isn't this wonderful? I think this is a true sign of happiness, or just pure bliss for a lion, when you can just sleep belly up, paw on the side, and not really worry about anything else coming your way. Well done, girl. She might have to start cleaning herself again to keep that wound clean. Tina on Safari, you're wondering if the lionesses in a pride are all related. How is inbreeding prevented? Well, it's a very clever way of, so inbreeding, let's start with that, is when family members that are, let's say, brothers or uncles and sisters, they start mating with one another. So you will not have a new gene pool or new genes coming into the pride. So the way that nature prevents inbreeding, and it's pretty much preventing the males that are born in the pride to mate with the females that are born into the pride. Now, it doesn't work every single time. However, it depends on a number of things. But in this particular case, or in an ideal situation, what would happen is the males would push away the young males that are born into the pride, and the females will also become less tolerant of them around. And these young males will then become nomadic for a few years until they manage to settle themselves somewhere entirely different, where they can pretty much claim a territory and a pride for themselves. Now, the Birmingham boys, they were not born in this area, and they are not related to this one. So they just came from somewhere else. They were kicked off by the Birmingham pride. I believe it's the pride that they were born into. And then they carried on moving into this general area. And if I'm not mistaken, they actually came from the Timbavati. Now, once they've come into this area, they've pushed out all of the other males that were here, and they've mated with the Nkuhuma females, the pretty girls that we're looking at here. And now, I think there's only one male cub in this pride at the moment, but once that male gets older, probably in the next year and a half or so, the males and the females are going to push him away, and he's going to have to go and find a territory for himself, but he's only going to be able to do that in a few years' time. So if, for example, if he finds another male lion that is roughly the same age, that's looking a bit lonely, he might join up with that particular male and form a coalition. So in that way, just by kicking the males out of this area where they were born into, then you'll make sure that all of these genes from this particular pool are spread and they go somewhere else instead of remaining here. However, having said this, it doesn't always happen that way. Lion dynamics are very interesting and sometimes not predictable at all. Now, for example, there's a very famous pride of lions in the southern Sabi sand, which used to be just one adult female and two young males, and I'm talking about the Charleston pride. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, where we had a bit of a case of inbreeding, or at least could have potentially have a slight case of inbreeding, because these particular young males, they were raised by their aunt, and when they came of age, because there were no males in that particular area to push them out, or it was just the one female, they ended up mating with their aunt and sire, and now are pretty much the fathers of their aunt's cubs. So you can see where it gets a bit tricky in terms of the politics. And there was another pride of lions not too far from there, and that also it used to be known as the Sand River males, or as the Hilda's Rock Pride males. I think they also mated with their mother and their aunt, and then they had cubs again in that area. And because by the time that they were old enough, there was a pride takeover, and there weren't any strong males around to kick them out and prevent the inbreeding from happening. So in the natural world, this is why males often get pushed off of the area where they are born into, and it doesn't really matter if the females stay around here for too long, because the males are the ones that are going to start, or the males that get pushed out, they are the ones that are going to carry the genes into a new area. It is quite complicated, isn't it? It sounds like something that's come out of Game of Thrones. Andy, you're wondering how far from their home area will a male travel? Well, it depends. Sometimes they don't have to travel too far. Sometimes maybe a couple 100 kilometers. It depends on area and the pre-existing lion prides in the area. So, for example, if the young male in this pride comes of age, let's put it that way, and the Birmingham males are still territorial around here, and then if we go further south, we've got the Majingalands, and then perhaps even the Avoca males, he might have to move quite far away until he finds an area where he can actually start matching or start competing for the rights to have that pride. So it's very much area dependent. Sometimes they don't even get pushed out of the herd and they stay where they were born, and sometimes they will have to travel a couple 100 kilometers. I remember we had some of the young males that were born in the Southern Pride, I think, and this was in the 2013, that ended up going all the way from the Southern Sabi Sand to pretty much the Timbavati, which is quite a distance, a couple 100 kilometers. Yeah, you don't really want to do that long trek right now, do you? John, you're wondering if female lions can kill cubs like the males do. It happens less often because the females just pretty much stay with their own pride and protect their cubs, but if they were to bump into another's pride's cubs, then yes, I've seen it happen, unfortunately, and it's quite a horrific event. But they will kill other lion cubs that, in general, they would just kill other lions that are not in their pride, or they don't form part of their pride, just as a way of fighting them off their territory and making sure that their genes, their cubs, have that particular area and the resources in that area to be able to grow into successful territorial lions. Well, you wouldn't think so, looking at all of these sleepy lions and just how much they're enjoying this nap. Oh look, we've got one touching each other's paws. I wonder if maybe that's a bit more comfortable for her. And it is quite funny. Often you will see lions sleeping on top of one another. Someone's foot will be in somebody else's face. But I think this is quite a hand-holding almost look-alike. Very beautiful, guys. Seems like Scotty has managed to find more lions in the Mara, so let's go over to him and see which ones he's looking at right now.
Well, we've got very lucky and stumbled upon a lioness. I've been scanning around in the hope that there may be some more around, but it's such an open area, this. But I'm not convinced, although hang on, I think I've just spotted one VM. If you zoom out and keep going to the left of where that ellie is, more left, more left, more left, keep zooming in there, just to the right of that bush. A little bit more right. There we go. So there's another lion sleeping over there, it looks like. Difficult to see. Have you got it there, VM, in the sense of your screen? So at least there's one more there. And that's all I can see. So interesting stuff, lying right out in the open. I'm sure she hasn't moved all day. She seems to also have a nice full belly. just like the 5 males we saw earlier. So they're enjoying the good times. Every lion we've seen has been full-bellied. And it's only going to get easier for them as the weeks go by. There's going to be more and more food around every corner for them. But good to see she's already started cashing in. It's dead still and calm and quiet. Quite warm now when the sun breaks through the clouds. And the only noise you can hear is that of some wildebeest in the distance. Other than that, it's an incredibly still, calm and peaceful afternoon here in the Mara. And that's being well emphasized by this lioness's behavior. Not a worry in the world. Now, if VM just zooms out a little bit, he can show you that she's got a lot of options beyond her to the right. Lots of canoes and zebra up on the ridge there. So even though she's full, there may still be some good prospects for her to get another meal this evening. Now, one of you noticed there was a splash or a spray of water while we were looking for that lion. I also noticed that, but forgot to mention anything about that. So well done for spotting that. And basically what that is a hippopotamus, I believe. This is a marsh. This area is called the Marsh. There's a pride of lions called the Marsh Pride, of which this could well be one of them. I've heard that the pride has moved out of this area further north into community lands and into community conservancy. So maybe this is a fragment of that pride, but it's a very big marsh that we are kind of on the edge of. So there could well be some hippo. There's some water there, some streams feeding into the marsh that VM's found you. Hence the lush green layer of grass in this low-lying area. Such an interesting place to be on safari because you can see so far. So I've just seen a wildebeest running in the distance and I wasn't sure what it was. So you always got to keep checking. You never know what's going to pop up here in this wonderful wilderness. Rachel, you're absolutely right. That lioness does look incredibly full-bellied and content in her current state, as she should be. We must all remember that, for lions to catch their prey, it's not always an easy affair. I think a lot of us always give them too much credit, possibly. So she's done well to fill her belly. Hard-earned meal. That will, like I say, change, though. There will become countless meals available to them in the coming weeks. But for now, she's got absolutely nothing to worry about. Nice full belly, some water right here for her to drink. So she's in a very, very good spot. Now, I think it's going to be a little bit tricky to get to that other one. But let's try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I'm wondering if we shouldn't go back a bit in order to get to where it is. Oof. It's quite a way in there, but let's see what we can do. It'll be really interesting to work out who's who with all these lions. I know Brent, who's spent a lot of time over the last month traversing the Mara. I know he hasn't spent too much time across here, so that's kind of one of the reasons why I've come across onto this eastern side of the Mara River this afternoon, is to start trying to gather a little bit more intel and information as to what's going on exactly out here. Alright, well, we're gonna try and get a little bit closer to this lion, and while we do that, we're gonna send you over to Ali on Juma for an update on how she's getting along.
Well, we have decided to leave the Nkuhumas for a little while and perhaps come back slightly later when they're a bit more active. Now, I'm more interested as well, while the beautiful lions sleep away the afternoon, there are reports for a young leopard walking around not too far from where we are. So I want to see if perhaps we get super lucky with the cats today and see who it is that's walking around. I'm sure whoever it is was the same one that I was trying to follow this morning, because I believe it was somewhere around Philemon's cut line where we were looking at the tracks this morning. So fingers crossed we'll be able to know who's around there. And I think Tristan is the one that's going in there just to give us a hand. And if you're wondering why Tristan's not on drive today, well, Ferg has gone all the way to the Mara. So I'm sure we're going to be enjoying some artsy views from him in the next few days or so. But Tristan's very kindly helping us track some of the animals. Now, I think maybe this way we'll go there quicker. I just need to get a hold of him and find out where it is that he wants me to go. Ah, there we go. Standing by. Okay, copy. Alright, seems like they got lucky and found a bit of a male leopard. Not too sure who it is yet, so hopefully it'll stay in an area where we can actually follow him. But we're gonna start making our way there and then potentially get to see him. The news from Mbula are that he is still in the long grass, so there's no visual because he is on the Bufosuk side, so we can't see him from here. So I am hoping that maybe later on all the little creatures will start moving around. Because Mbula, funny enough, he's not too far from where these lions are. I would say maybe about 200 meters more west of where we are. Alright, I'm gonna try to get there as quickly as possible, as it seems like this young leopard is now somewhere around quarantine, and quarantine is pretty much her backyard. So it's good to know that it's been somewhere around there. Alright, off we go. We're gonna try and get there as quickly as possible. There we go. Oh, what an exciting afternoon. We've got lions, potentially a leopard, hyenas, everyone moving around. I'm sure it's because the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and we are quite happy to be out here in the bush today. And I'm very happy we saw the Nkuhumas. For a little while there, my heart nearly stopped and I was like, no, they have gone somewhere else. But luckily they did go somewhere else, but where some of the other guys had left them. So I think it all worked out for us in the end. We managed to see some sleepy lions, and we're gonna go back to them later on this afternoon, see if perhaps they get a bit more active and they start moving around. As I'm sure the reason why they've been quiet lately, well, despite the fact that the Birmingham boy is not there, is just that they've been very quiet because they're trying to potentially hunt. So they don't really want to give their position away. Let's see, whoop. Going all the way down here onto the main road. Steph, we did mention earlier on that Mbula was around. However, he is not too far from where we are, but he is unfortunately now on the Bufosuk side, so we can't really see him from there. We do know that he's got a kill that is visible from the road because he's put it up a tree, and it seems like it's an old warthog what he's managed to hunt down. So I'm gonna try my luck a little bit later, see if perhaps he'll be around. The guys that are on Bufosuk, however, are letting us know if he, or will let us know if he does jump up there, because unfortunately if he is on the ground then there's no visual from the road. I did try this morning on a very desperate last minute attempt to get to him, but there was no view from him, which was a bit sad because I would have really liked to see Mbula as well. Alright, whoop. There's a big hole on the road. and we are almost approaching the area where Tristan wanted us to go, so I'm sure we'll get there soon enough. I'm sure we'll be able to get there in the next 5-10 minutes or so, depending on how far Tristan has moved from where he last said to us. So I think, hold on tight, maybe in 10 minutes we'll be able to see it. While I do that, let's go to Scott, who's also got some sleepy cats.
So, very interestingly, this is a young male lion, and he appears to have a radio transmitting collar on his neck, and Brent seems to think that it must be one of the Recaro males. I think that that pride of lions has done quite a lot of dispersing, so they've offshoot into different kind of semi-prides or mini-prides from within what was once a bigger pride. And I'm looking forward to doing some more research into this male and when he was collared, what interesting movements they found from him. It really is fascinating what researchers can gain from these radio tracking collars, and very often these animals are doing things that we don't quite expect them to. At the moment though, it's doing exactly as we expect, and that is to sleep. Lions are definitely great sleepers and spend about 16 to 20 hours every day doing just this. There's some buffalo in the background, not too far away, and there's also something splashing in the water there. I'm guessing it's some hippos. I just saw a faint bit of splashing in those reeds between the buffalo and the lion, where there's obviously a small puddle of water. From this angle, the male doesn't seem as well fed as the female, so it'll be interesting to know when they met up and why he didn't get to cash in on the meal. Judging by his size from here, he would have probably been able to give that lioness a run for her money with regards to fighting over the food. And they will fight over food, even pride members. There's no friends when it's dinner time in the Lion Kingdom. And it seems like that must have been the case with these two, because she's full-bellied and he certainly isn't. Now what's fascinating is from where we're sitting, there's buffalo behind the lion, and then further off to the right there's a nice big bull elephant. So we've got 3 of the mighty big 5, all within about 500 meters of one another, all doing their own thing, completely oblivious to the presence of one another. He also seems on the go slow. He doesn't seem to know what he wants to do next. He could be listening to infrasonic vibrations coming from other elephants. Often when elephants stand still, it can mean 2 things. They're feeling a bit sleepy, or they're actually listening. They absorb infrasonic frequencies through their feet, which are then processed into messages, which is an incredible ability that elephants have, and quite a recent development in terms of scientists working that out. And I'm sure we will continue to work out more interesting things about the wild world that we live in. Hello to Kestrel. You're interested to know a little bit more about lion feeding behavior. However, not when they're grown up, but from a young age. You know, when would a young male or a young brother start overpowering his sister and start getting bigger than his sister? Well, from very, very young, quite often. They can be just a few months old, or not even months old, when they're still nursing. Whoever has the most ferocious appetite and who's also the strongest will be able to get the most milk and therefore grow quickly. So it's not uncommon from about 3 to 4 months of age to start noticing that male cubs are slightly bigger than their sisters, and they will continue to outcompete them when it comes to nursing for milk from mum, as well as when they start feeding on carcasses. And as harsh and horrible as that may seem, that they don't share out here, it's vital for the survival of the fittest to make sure only the best genes make it through. Oh, well spotted, VM, he's found some eland for us. They're obviously having a problem with flies over where they are. Thankfully, we don't have the same problem here, because I don't have a tail to wag to chase them off, whereas they thankfully do. And you can see they all seem to be doing that quite consistently. Okay, well there's some exciting news. Jamie Patterson is out and about and she's found a lioness strolling down the road.
I have indeed found a lioness that is strolling down the road, and she's just plonked herself behind a vehicle. So let's go and catch up with her, but first, let me set the scene. We weren't really meant to be going live this afternoon, but we just thought, well, we've come down the mountain, and we have to share this with you. For those of you that are new to these safaris, my name is Jamie, and this afternoon, Manu is on camera with me. We've got the Angama Pride. We've got one little cub over there, sitting on the termite mound, looking quite dejected. Sad that Mum has gone off, but of course always aware that that will mean food in the not too distant future. All four Angama lionesses were here a moment ago. One of them's gone off to feed the brand new cubs. They're on the opposite side of this river system. She's just moved away from where she's been stashing them. Tiny, tiny little cubs. There's another little... Where is that lion? Manu?
Yeah.
Is that right here?
Yeah.
Did she pop out? She did pop out. There we go. So that's the mother of the youngest cubs. She's just been across to feed them, and now I think there's a very good chance that her and the rest of her pride are going to start looking for some dinner. They're definitely looking hungry, and they've got not 7, but 10 hungry mouths to feed. 7 slightly older cubs, and the rest are those 3 tiny, tiny little ones. Right, so all I'm missing actually is one lioness. I know that 2 have walked across in front of me. There's number 3. So number 4 disappeared behind me somewhere. I don't know where she went, but she's been missing for the last 2 days, so there's a possibility that she's also got young cubs. I couldn't see if she had suckle marks. The grass was too tall. Either way, it does mean that the Angama girls are going to have to work very hard tonight, and Manu and myself and our safari this evening will be up all evening to witness it. Hopefully they don't decide to duck through that drainage line. It's their favorite hunting spot. This is, apart from the one exception when I saw them right outside the camp gate, this is the only place I have ever seen the Angama Pride in my entire time here. Perfect time, of course, for screenshots to be sent through on #SafariLive on Twitter. We can see quite clearly that the mum of the youngest set of cubs has some relatively fly-bitten ears. Lots of nicks and cuts there. Although I must say that applies to almost all of the lions out here. There you go, she's got a nice nick on her left ear. Something to look out for when we identify them. Right, I'm going to go and catch up with the lioness on the termite mound, because they seem to be the one most on the search for food. Let's go across to Ali, the cat lady of Juma, who's pulled it out of the hat once again.
Yes, awesome to have you here all the way, looking very regal on top of this termite mound. Now, this is out of time, last minute leopard. We are looking at the beautiful Tingana, the king of the termite mounds, it seems. He loves being up there. I'm sure also like a little bit like Tamba. Now, Tristan apparently said that he was busy looking for leopard tracks. He's gone out on tracking team just to make sure to help us out a little bit this afternoon. And it seems like he's got blood on his neck, not from him, not from an injury he sustained or anything else, but Tristan's got a feeling that he actually stole a kill from Tandi and Tamba. Now, the tracks for this male are all over the place like we had them this morning. And he said that he eventually bumped into him walking on the road. So we think that maybe Sneaky Tingana has actually gone and had a free meal, and he stole a kill from Tandi, because Tandi's tracks were a female leopard and a cub were on top of his tracks. So quite an interesting afternoon for all the cats around here. After they made us work so hard this morning for all of them. Wonderful to see him, although a bit sleepy. Hiding his face in shame for stealing the meal from a lady. To be honest, I actually don't think he's ashamed at all. I think he's quite happy that he had a free meal. Seems like that's what he's roughly been doing lately. I think it's the second occasion where we suspect that he might have stolen a kill from Tandi and Tamba. Now, it happens often with leopards. They are all opportunistic animals, so if any of them have got the chance to have a free meal, they will take it. And not just Tingana would do this, pretty much any other leopard would do it. Wonderful camouflage. I wonder how often he lies on top of the termite mounds in the middle of these blocks away from the roads, and none of us can see him. And I have a feeling he's been around, because was it about 2 nights ago, Sam, that we heard a male leopard sawing close to the camp? And we'd been looking for a leopard the whole day, very close to camp, and just as we were closing down, right where we parked the cars, it sounded like the leopard was right there. So I'm sure Tingana's been making sure that nobody's trying any funny business around his area. This is wonderful. Somebody's quite sleepy. Doesn't